caster?
What's your question?
What's caster?
Well, you got caster, camber, and toe. That's your major things that you can adjust in a car when you're doing an alignment. Caster's like this one, how far forward your wheel is.
Mm-hmm.
So you think about it like a bicycle, and most people that rode like a chopper bicycle are long gone. But if you got that really long, sticking out front wheel, it's kind of hard to turn, and it wants to return real hard. So they want positive caster in a car for that returnability, so that when you turn the wheel, you let go, it comes back. And then also it rides better for the drivetrain. You got your shock at like this kind of an angle when you're hitting a bump going forward. See how it fits the angle? If it was just straight up and down, it'd feel kind of funny. The bounce would be like that. And if it was straight up and down, your steering wheel would wander all over the place. So caster is basically how far forward or backwards the wheel is. From 0 degrees would be, it's right up over the center of weight and the suspension.
Okay.
And like I said, that would just leave you wandering all over the road. And then when you hit a bump, it would just like move the front of the car up. It would feel completely different. So that's caster.
And then camber.
I ain't got there yet.
Okay.
So I was taught caster. I wish I had the whiteboard. We're gonna get the whiteboard. We're gonna get the whiteboard rolling. But for right now, caster, it's like you're casting a fishing reel, right? So you want to cast that reel, and you want it to go out real nice and have a nice forward angle, right? If you go to cast it and you catch your granddad with the hook, and you just swing the wheel and then it's hanging back there, that's negative. That's negative caster. So that's bad. You want it out. Hanging like that. So anyway, camber's this one. So you're sitting behind, these are your front wheels, you're sitting behind it, right? So what they call negative camber is how far the wheels lean in.
Yeah.
And you want a little bit of negative camber because when you're going around a turn, see, now it's straight. If you had 0 or even positive caster, you go a wheel, you feel like you're rolling over, right? You want a little negative. So that's why you see some European cars are like this, and then some rockheads do some stupid shit like this, just try to look cool.
That. Yes.
That's just dumb. That's called I can't remember what they call it. I think it's just like smoking dope and doing your alignment, something like that. But yeah, they get the camber like that. Anyway, but you want a little bit of negative camber for that. When you're rolling, see how your wheels end up straight. And they call it, so remember negative. So if you're looking at that, the axis of weight is going up here and it's just sitting on your outside bearing.
Yeah.
So if you go more positive, straight up and down, you're sitting on both bearings. See, because that wheel's straight up and down. So they call it negative because it's leaning in, because it's putting more weight on the outside. It's trying to rip the wheel off the car. So that's why I call it negative. So you don't want too much negative, but you want a little negative. See?
Yeah.
Because who doesn't want a little negativity in their life? If they didn't have it, they wouldn't know what's positive. So if you got somebody that ain't just a little nuts at home, you don't know what normal would be looking like. You got to have a little bit of, we was talking earlier about kitties, right? I love my little kitties. I like to have the house full of kitties. But they're gonna knock your stuff over, dig in your plants, puke on the bed, wake you up 2 o'clock in the morning, fighting to the death over nothing. So that's a little bit of negativity, but if you didn't have that, you wouldn't understand the beauty of them when they're all cuddly and cute and whatnot. So you gotta have a little bit of negative camber in your life. You got a little negative camber in your drive. And then toe is this. So you want a little bit actually of toe out. It makes everything ride better. Good coefficient of drag. But you get too much toe out or toe in, you're gonna wear the outside of the tire or the inside of the tire. That's your number one thing that wears your tires out. Is messed up toe. So you get that messed up if you hit something, and then you got a bent tie rod and you're doing like this, and then you're just going to scrub the outside of that tire. And the car is going to try to find a happy medium, so you're going down the road like this. And that even affects fuel mileage and everything else because you're dragging. Either one, if you're towed in or towed out. Right? It's going to affect you because you're dragging down the road. You're not just riding smooth like this. So usually 0 is good. But a lot of cars will ask for a little bit of tow out to take up for slopping the steering gear and whatnot and for going around turns.
Maneuverage.
You got to maneuverage. So tow, you want that. So that's like your relationship with the Lord. You want that tight, right?
Right.
Lockstep. That's what you're trying to do.
Trying to be locked in.
We're not always there. Sometimes we hit a curve and then we're and we're like, Lord, I don't know, what were you trying? Oh, go. And then you got your camber. Like I said, you want a little negative camber. That's just the spice of life. So you know when you're tracking right. And then I don't know, run out of analogies for caster.
Right. So aligning a vehicle.
But you definitely don't want to catch your granddad with the hook behind you. Try to catch your granddad anyway, I'm speaking from experience on that. Go ahead, ma'am. About
So
alignments.
when you're aligning the vehicle,
yes.
What do you do first? Is there a first?
Oh, there's a first. You got to start at the back. And if there are camber and toe adjustments in the back, you do that. They don't talk about caster in the back. That's steering angle. That's next level. We'll talk about that later. You got thrust angle, steering angle, inclination, Beelzebub. You got all these things that you ain't got to worry about right now. We're talking about camber, caster, and toe. That's the things you're worried about when you're doing the towing.
Okay.
When you're doing the alignment. Don't forget the angle of dangle. But that's one we're totally not getting into right now. You got to have the right angle of the dangle. But that's something else. But anyway, you asked about order. That's a great question. Sorry, I'm obfuscating a little bit, but I am known to dally off subject. So you got to do the rear camber and toe first. Then you remeasure everything, check your front camber, toe, and caster. And then you make adjustments. You got to check caster again. That's a wild card. But you got to do the back first. Then you do the camber and the caster. Then you do the toe and the front.
So the rear tires?
The rear tires, you do the camber first.
When you say rear, okay.
The rear tires, yeah.
Okay.
And then you do the toe in the rear first.
Okay.
If there's adjustments, some cars got it, some cars don't. So then if you hit a dang curb in the rear tire in some cars, you're just gonna be driving down the road looking like Popeye all the time.
Yeah.
But or you got to get shims or to replace the components that are bent or whatever else. But you do rear and then you do the front camber and caster. Then you do the toe, because all the others will affect that toe. So that's why you do the toe last.
Okay. All right.
And that's how you do an alignment.
Thank you.
Thank you.